this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are concentrating on some fall items and starting into kind of that season. It being October already, oh my goodness. Please be patient with me this month. We just got back from our trip to Ireland, and I brought back an unwanted souvenir in that I tested positive for COVID after I returned. So I'm kind of still in recovery mode with that. Today we are doing a Halloween layout, and we are focusing on a collection that came out in 2017 called Toil Trouble. You might remember the brilliant turquoise blue and other oranges and yellows. Really fun, and we're going to do the project recipe for that today. And so let's check out what's in my workspace and get started. It's going to be really fun. Alright, so this is my workspace for today. You might recognize this paper pack, Toil Trouble. It came out back in 2017. It's been a hot minute, as my kids would say, since we worked with this one. But I pulled it out again so that we could do a project recipe for both Toil Trouble and another older fall collection that we had a while ago that I now don't have the paper for anymore. So we're going to use Toil Trouble for both of those. But today we are going to focus on the project recipe that was designed for this collection. And you're going to see when I remove the collection envelope, oh pardon me, so sorry, that back in 2017 the format for project recipes was a little bit different than it is now. They have evolved over time. So we do still have a picture of a completed project recipe. We do still have a sketch of and it's a much more specific sketch. As you can see, they actually drew in pumpkins right here, which is fine, but we all know that you could use any punch to create a border to go in that spot. On the cutting guide, though, it is just slightly different. Our current project recipes actually give the measurements right on the pieces, and this cutting guide does not do that. So it is a little bit trickier to get through. So just bear with me as we figure this out kind of together. And fortunately for me, in that I'm figuring it out for us, we do have measurements that are down here, which is helpful. But also, you'll notice that on this project recipe, we really are only cutting mats for the most part. So, and those are pretty standard sizes. So this is not going to be rocket science we're doing today. No worry. It's going to be okay. Let me show you what else I have on my desktop before we get into the rest of that. So I have permanent and repositionable adhesive, which will come in handy when we go ahead and assemble this. I have the Pumpkins Border Maker cartridge, which came out a while ago. I think it came out about the same time as Toil Trouble in 2017. This punches a variety of sized pumpkins, which is nice. Oh, please excuse me. I'm still not over the cough from my COVID, as my daughter is reminding me. So we're going to use this punch today, but as I just mentioned, you know, this project recipe could be used with many different themes, and you could use many different punches for that. I'm going to use hot fudge cardstock as my base, which may seem odd for a Halloween layout, and actually the project recipe photo shows black, but I'm running low on black cardstock right now, so I'm just going to use hot fudge. I think it will work nicely for the colors and the papers I'm going to use today. And and I'm not too worried about it. It should be just fine. So it sounds delicious, Emily says. Indeed. All right. So I'm going to set those base pages aside. We're going to use this kind of planky wood page with different colored planks. We're going to use this sort of honeycomb turquoise blue page, which is such a beautiful blue. And we're going to use this page, which actually, I just noticed, has little bitty pumpkins right here amidst all of these other viney shapes. There's birds, there's pumpkins, there's this sort of fleur-de-lis, sort of a fleur-de-lis pattern in here. Anyway, just some funness for our holidays. So let me grab my trimmer and we will get started with trimming up a couple of these. Okay, so this one with the boards is going to be the one that we are going to put across both pages of our layout. So I'm going to cut this crossways because I want a variety of planks all the way across my layout. That means I'm going to turn it and cut through the center. Pardon me. Then I'm going to cut this at 6 inches so we have equal pieces, 2 6-inch pieces. Those are going to go over here. Then I'm going to, according to our cutting guide, we're going to cut this blue honeycomb paper is going to be most of our cuts right in here. We're going to, let me take off my prompt. We're going to punch it first, and then we're going to cut several other sizes. So let me see. Yeah, so this is a chain border maker cartridge. That means it's going to cut itself off and separate from the page, which is great. We're gonna just go ahead and take a minute. I'm gonna set my trimmer to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and punch one strip of each of these papers using our border maker system. And when you have a paper that has an up and down, it's directional, you definitely want to make sure you're using it in an appropriate way. This one is not necessarily directional, so I'm not worried about that. But the one with the pumpkins on it, we probably should worry about that. So. I know you're probably saying, blue pumpkins, that's going to be crazy. And yes, it will be crazy, but the back side is yellow. So I'm not sure which side we'll end up using. We might use a little bit of each side. We'll see. All right, so there's that one. And then let's go ahead and punch the orange. Making sure that I have this so that the pumpkins are still going to be upright. Actually, wait a minute, am I doing this right? This one is going to be our designer paper number 3, so really we're only cutting two mats after we punch, so I think we'll be just fine. All right, so let's go ahead and get the rest of these trimmed up. Let's do our blue paper since that's paper number 2. There we go. All right, so paper number 2, these 2 pieces here, D and E, we can see are 6.5 by 4.5. So I'm gonna bring my arm out so that I can make sure that I'm cutting a 6.5 wide piece. And my paper is still going the same direction that I started when I was trimming or punching this guy. So that's important because when you don't want to turn it accidentally, and then the rest of your cuts will be kind of messed up. Okay, so 6.5. Now we're going to do 2 that are 4.5. There's 1. There's 2. Then we're going to cut 2 that are both 1 inch. So I'm going to measure on the right hand side of my trimmer to the 1 inch mark. There's 1 and there's 2, and then this extra piece we'll just set aside over here. Then we're going to take the rest of our blue paper, and this is going to be H and I, which are going to be 4.5 inch squares, which we're already at 4.5 inches this way, so I'm just going to turn it this way and cut 2 more at 4.5. 4.5 and 4.5, and then the remaining 2 pieces should both be 1.5 inches. So we're gonna just do 1.5, or cut that in half. Just like that. Okay, now we're gonna take our orange paper, and with our orange paper we're going to cut 2 4.5 inch squares. So we're just going to cut at 4.5 inches, making sure our pumpkins are upright. We're going to do 4.5, then we're going to turn it and do 4.5 again. And another 4.5 again. That page, or that piece, is extra, and the remainder of the orange sheet is also extra. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side, and we will get cracking at assembling this. So here are our base pieces. We're going to take these 2 large 6 by 12 pieces that we cut at the very beginning. These are going to be our center pieces. Okay, and we're going to adhere them to the very center of our page. Now, if you're concerned about where the center of your page is located, hopefully you have a way to measure, or a grid. If you're working on a grid like this, it can make things much easier. So I'm going to find my 10 line over here and line my paper up with that, and then I can go up pardon me, go up 3 inches and adhere my paper because we know that this is 6 inches, so 3 inches on top, 3 inches on the bottom, right? Yeah. So we're going to do the same thing with this side. And actually, it doesn't really matter where I line this up on here. I just need to know where the 3-inch mark is. So, like that. All right. Now, I think we're going to go with it aligned like that. And just take a look at your colors and your paper if you're using some designer paper similar to this one, and just make sure your pattern is the way you want it. I want mine this way because then my blues are a little bit more balanced and they stand out much more than the other colors. So so that's the way I'm going to go with that. Pardon me. Whew. Okay. So our punched borders that we made, you can see from the example that they've given us that they have gone ahead and cut sections of it out and added to. So like they're using the orange, but they've taken portions of the blue and added them in, which we could do. We probably could even add some of the yellow ones. So what I'm going to do is just take my precision cut scissors and go ahead and cut some of these larger pumpkins. So let me just kind of simplify that a little bit. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and add some of these to some of these. What I don't know is I don't think it would work with the yellow, unfortunately, because that means the stem's going to go the other way. Although we could try it, it just won't look quite as spot on, you know. But I'm okay with that. I think it may just look like a shadow. Goodness. We'll do kind of an every other one type of situation here. Now we can either cut this ahead of time or we can adhere it and then cut it. But basically we're going to be cutting it right there between those two pumpkins. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it this way. And then we're going to adhere this, just like we see it here, right to the top edge of our planks, right? Just like that. Now I'm going to put my papers together because I like to know that everything is lining up the way it should. There we go. Just like that. And now what we're going to do is grab our two large mats. I'm going to lay these out the way the way they are here. So we're going to put a large mat here and a large mat here. And then we're going to put these orange mats with the pumpkins going up underneath, like that. Right. Now, these center ones right here, we can either use the blue or we can flip it and use the yellow. And I kind of think I like the yellow. Then we also have these pieces. These pieces will go down this far side. And I think I'm gonna flip those over. I'm not sure, I can't remember if we were supposed to flip them over. Oh, it says we're supposed to use the reverse side. It also says we're supposed to use this as the reverse side. So far everything that I'm doing is intuitive, the way that they wanted us to do it. So that's awesome. And then these two blue pieces will go below these squares. So something like that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get these adhered. Okay, so you may have, if you were watching that video closely, the sped up video closely, you will have noticed that I had to take my papers off and redo them just a little bit. Let me just explain why I did that. So initially I had placed this mat a little too close to the top, and it would have left too much of a border on the other side. So I went back in and removed this so that I could put this mat just a little bit lower on the page and have more of an even border at the top and the bottom of my page. So that was why I went ahead and redid that. Then I went ahead and adhered this one, oh pardon me, goodness sake, and stuck it to the paper, or stuck it to my layout, and then realized that really I should have adhered this smaller piece first because it needs to line up with the bottom here. So So I took it off and fixed it. So here's this one, adhering and lining up to the bottom, lining up with the bottom of that page. This paper is directional, so I want to make sure that it's the same as the other one, which are the same as the pumpkins at the top, so that I can make sure the pattern's moving in the same direction. Okay, and then this one just goes in between and an even amount between the edge of these mats and the edge of my page and the top. So it's probably close to 1/4 of an inch from or over the edge on each end, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so there's that. Not looking too bad so far. I'm actually kind of liking this. All right, so now what they've done is they've got stickers that they've put down each of these bars that are on the side, and then they've got a little band down here to embellish. They've got a couple of ghosts here too. Now I don't have any more of the stickers from Toil and Trouble. This one was from, you know, again, 2017, which was a while ago. So what I did was I pulled out several of the collection, or a couple of the collections from years past that I do have things from. So I've got Full Moon Fun, and I have these candy corn borders, which would be cute, or these spiderweb borders, which would also be cute to put down the center of that. And I have a few other stickers we could use, so that's a possibility. I have some laser borders from Full Moon that would work. We could put that down the center right there on each side. Cut that in half and just put that down each side. That would also work, I think. I've got this, which is a little bit darker orange, which we could cut in half and put down each side. Just kind of a little bit interesting and kind of viney, so it goes with the pumpkins, and sort of picks up the redder-ness of this board right here. I'm not sure which one I like best. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Or I also have this one, which is more of like just an eyelet kind of thing. Let me pull it off so you can see. So it looks like that, which we could put down each side. I don't think I like that one as much. Okay, so I think for me, it's either this one, or possibly the spider webs, which I think would be really cool. But they don't really play into the pumpkins. Or we could do candy corn. Maybe we'll just go with this vine, because it's a single laser border, and I don't really have anything else I will be using it on, so I think that would actually be the best choice. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this in half. And then you can see the back is purple, so I don't want to use the purple side, of course, because we don't have purple anywhere else in this layout. But we'll use a pretty filigree side, and this is not a full, like it's not going to go the full measurement of this piece, because this piece is 6.5 inches, So we're going to put it about 1/4 of an inch from the top, 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Center it like that. And the same with this one. So it'll go about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, 1/4 of an inch from the top, just like so. And then as far as other excuse me, as far as other embellishments go, I have some roses we could use, but then again that brings in another color that's not a part of this. I have This Is Halloween, or I have All Hallows Eve, which might be cool. Something wicked this way comes. Let's see. Let's do All Hallows Eve. And let me see if I have any just shapes of anything in this one that we could use. I don't introduce too many new colors. I've got some spider webs. We could use some spider webs. Here's a cute little ghost we could use. Could use him. Of course, his eyeballs stayed in his head. We don't want his eyeballs to stay in his head. We want them to come out. Let's see where he'll end up being. What else? Oh, we've got actually 3 different ghosts we could put on here. Yay! Sort of similar to our original. Get that other ghost off of here. Have to poke his eyes. Get his eyes coming out of there. Let me find my foam squares, which I think I left over here. Yep. All right, so I'll add big foam square here, a little bit smaller one there. And maybe we'll put this guy, so we'll put our two little ghosties on the outside, and we'll put this guy kind of down here in the middle. And then that way we can put a title across the top here for whatever event is going to go on this page. Sorry, I can't get the little eyeballs off my finger. Crazy. All right. He's gonna go there. This one will go a little bit further down, kind of over here. And then this one will go right here in the middle. I'm going to leave the sticky on that one, the tab on that one, so that just in case it interferes, I don't think it's going to, but just in case. All right, I believe this one is done. It's interesting when we combine some old with some new and see what we can come up with. I think it turned out well, and I really love this blue. It's kind of interesting to use that color with Halloween, but I think it works well with this particular collection. Toil and Trouble. Super fun. I hope that you enjoyed being with me today and spending this time, and I hope this has given you some good ideas for using this with other with layouts for yourself, and maybe with other themes as well as Halloween. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.